Welcome back to Silverstone, where the BWRDC race is currently now underway for the ladies' race here. Race 4 record. Apologies for the slight delay in that, but the race actually was starting at 11:15, so we decided we'd take a bit of a break. And thankfully, I have one extra person beside, because joining me now up here in the media centre is Mr. Chris Dawson. Chris, good to have you here. Not the best conditions, but even so, we're making the most of it as much as we can.
Yeah, hi Scott, and hi everybody else that's listening. It certainly is horrific. I mean, I arrived here probably about 15-20 minutes ago, and had to just sit in the car and wait before I'd even get out. It was crazy. I think I get the impression it has stopped raining now, but just looking at the spray coming off of all of this, and I think I bought the bad luck because I bought the Gremlins with the assistant before we could go live again, so apologies about my bad luck there, Scott.
No worries, one or two technical difficulties, but we're getting back on the road once again. Now, just checking, of course, we've got our live timing up here as well. Now, how this race is being done, because certain cars are running either laps ahead or laps back, because for one, the treble 3, which is the Lamborghini being driven by Fiona James, who was 10 seconds quicker at least than anyone else, is starting with 4 laps down. There's some cars which are starting 2 laps ahead, some cars which are starting 2 laps behind, which means that effectively Fiona James' car is starting at as much as 6 laps behind any other cars. So currently at this moment in time, as to how it's looking at the moment, after 3 laps completed, it's showing that number 17 of Maxine Nichols and the Toyota MR2 is currently leading the race at the moment by, it looks like, 10 seconds or so to the 23, which is of Maddie Maguire in the MG ZR 160. So third place now is the 84, which is Beverly Phillips in the MGB, and then in 4th place and topping at the moment in Class A is, at the moment, it's changing all the time as the cars come past. Gilbert's now leading in the Rover Mini Cooper and also leading overall in Class A. Nichols is down to 2nd, but Maguire's and then Waddington now in the other MGs now up there too. As the rest of the times come in terms of laps completed. It's a little bit all over the place, but it looks as though it's Gilbert that's leading in the Metro, Brian then Phillips, then Fountain up in 74 of Nina Fountain in the Toyota MR2, and Schilliker rounding out the top 5. It is a slightly confusing system, but we are making the most of it as best we can. But the idea, Chris, is to kind of put the cars back so that by the end of the race they all end up pretty much on the same lap altogether, and they so it makes it to hopefully a very close finish.
Yeah, it's one of those things that frankly is a commentator's worst nightmare in terms of understanding. Even with the timing screen in front of us, it's tricky to keep up with it. But I have to say that when we have watched these and commentated on them, once it works itself out at the end, it does make for some of the most exciting finishes, because they're very clever at how they work out the penalties, so that largely they're kind of all coming onto that last lap pretty much together. Now, the interesting thing though with this is that they'll have based those handicaps etc on their qualifying time, that I'm not aware that the conditions were quite as bad as they are now, and you can sometimes have that as an impact, so it'll be interesting to see how that works out. But yeah, we're kind of keeping abreast on the screen. I think that we had a staggered start, so that started off nice and confusing, where 3 cars got set off, then another 4, and as you said, they've got the credits and debits of laps. We did have a yellow flag down at Cops Corner, but from where we're stood here in the media centre, we couldn't see who it is, and the timing screen's not making it clear for us yet just who was off. I think it's just basically not showing them on the screen. Although interestingly, I noticed that car 333 Fiona James in the beautiful Lamborghini Gallardo isn't showing on our screen at all. Now maybe that's just because officially she's deemed as 4 laps back or something, but it's keeping things interesting, that's for sure. But I mean, you look straight in front of us now, 65 and 20, they're absolutely glued together. So that's Amy Barker in a Mazda MX-5 and Tina Cooper in a Lotus Elise, as you would expect, those two racing together. It just is absolutely brilliantly. I don't know the facts. Have we managed to get the record, you know, for the number of women in the one race? Because that was an objective, wasn't it?
I believe, because the previous record was 25 and 27, and I believe that is pretty much the record set, I believe. So congratulations to the BWRDC for actually pretty much setting a new record. Well done, that's well deserved. Now looking here, I'm not sure if the timing screen is not actually stretching down that far enough, but yeah, you are right, the triple 3 is not showing up on our timing screen, so maybe that she is that far back at the moment, of course, because they haven't even completed 6 laps yet. So as she is 6 laps back, they've got to complete 20 laps. So
well, that's not even true about the 6, don't forget, because some of them started and they already had 2 or 3 laps. So it's like this is how interesting it is trying to keep abreast of this timing screen is even crazy. But I'm just looking at the list of cars. I mean, what a fantastic mix. A Lamborghini Gallardo versus a Mini, a Fiesta XR2, a Clio, then a Lola, beautiful Lola T210, a massive Jaguar XJ40, you know, a Derby 597, a Morgan, an MR2, a Peugeot 106 Rally, a Midget. I mean, it just is incredible, the mix of cars they've got in here, isn't it? And this is why the whole handicap route is a good way to go, to get them absolutely glued together. They know that they've got to keep pushing, not just racing with the cars around them, they've got to push and sort of almost unlap themselves. Incidentally, a report, it is absolutely chucking it down again now as we look out of our window, so these conditions are about to get worse, not better.
Yeah, I can see people scurrying for cover off the pit wall because they do not want to get as soaked as they already have been, as I can attest to that, because I got soaked trying to get here to the media centre from the end of the pit lane, of the pit box where the BWRDC are located for this weekend. But looking at where they are now to try and work this whole situation out. Right, now the 333 has appeared on our timing screen. That's been completed as 1 lap, so looking at the lap times, that first lap time, not entirely true, but the first lap time apparently 7 minutes 44, which is more akin to the Nordschleife rather than the Silverstone National Circuit, admittedly, but even so, she's got quite a task ahead of her now to try and make those laps back up. So, if actually lapping 10 seconds that quicker than anyone else, is definitely going to be a factor. Her fastest time in qualifying, which put her at the fast top of the times, was a 1 minute 12.456, so she will hopefully try and scurry back to the field. We'll check her first time in a second to see exactly where she is, but currently it's showing at the 66, which is of let's see on here, of Caroline Gilbert, and the Rover Mini Cooper is currently leading, but the gap between her and the 29, which is of Hannah Bryan in the Rover Metro, so it's a battle of the road, it's Mini versus Metro out there. 4.4 seconds is the gap as the Morgan rumbles past as well, as does the 65, which is the yellow MX-5 of Amy Barker. There goes the 20, which is the Pursuer, which is the number 20, of course. And then again past that beautiful Lamborghini. And
that's a bit more like it. Look, 1 minute 20.542 lap time, not the 7 minutes like you said, the Nordschleife-esque time. That she's officially registering the accurate lap times on there now. So she's going to be desperately trying to catch up. But officially, she is 5 laps back, which is interesting because obviously she had a 4-lap penalty. So she had -4 when she started, and there was some that had +2 when they started. So she was 6 laps behind some of them. So started to unlap herself with a few of them. The thing I find quite amusing is that we're doing this live to keep you all updated, and we ain't got a clue. So
we're doing the best we can. The order from our first leader Jake Sanson, who is not enjoying the best of weather either, with our new recruit Adam Johnson over in Brands Hatch. He said, just go with it the best you can, do what you can, and let's see what we can do. But we are covering the BWRDC because, of course, we have a reason. Because these talented ladies, of course, going out there to race themselves and to prove that here at DownForce Radio, we don't believe that there is inequality. Effectively with us, as long as you're quick, it doesn't matter what gender you are, if you're quick, that's all that matters. So looking now at the times now, the Lamborghini is now down to 6 laps down the moment, so that should come back past the pits as it goes blast past both the Mazda and the little MR2. That's the number 74, which is of Nina Fountain in the Mark 1B, the black and green Toyota MR2. And now he's back up to 5 laps. He's put in another lap time of 1 minute 20.560. So even in the wet conditions, very consistent lap times for the Lamborghini. 2 lap times in the 1 minute 20.5s. Obviously some 8 seconds off the time they're setting qualifying. But looking at the rest of the field in terms of comparison, she's lapping again some 8-9 seconds lap quicker. The quickest lap time last time around seems to be the number 11, which is the Ford Puma CVP. I'm not quite sure what the CVP means in that Ford Puma, but even so, 1 minute 28.1. So it's still Gilbert and Metro the leading. The gap is 3.4 seconds, but even though we've got the handicap, because you've got so much rain, so much water here, we know that rain is a great performance level though. So that high lap advantage might not come down as quickly because of the tricky conditions.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that quite a few. I mean, when I sort of jokingly said we haven't got a clue, that is the whole joy of this, is you're not supposed to really know until it gets to the last lap or two. And that's what's so entertaining when I've done some handicap races, say Alton Park. We had last year, Dave Goddard and I did the Victor Meldrew Trophy at Brands Hatch, and it was brilliant. And it was great because we got told we did it in the spirit it's meant. This is supposed to be great fun, it's level, and it's such a beautiful, eclectic mix of cars out there. I mean, when you look on the straight there, a Mini Cooper versus a Lamborghini Gallardo, tell me another circuit in the world that is doing that. It's just brilliant. But like you say, is that it does make it tricky that this level of rain is slowing a little bit at the moment. It means that the advantage is probably a lot less than it would be normally. So it's be interesting to see how this is going to work out in the end.
Yeah, of course, the only thing I've ever seen that is either in the VLN in Germany or Gran Turismo. Apart from that doesn't happen anything. I've seen plenty of online races where somebody tries to be bold and go with a Mini and somebody just turns up a Lamborghini and goes, take that. But even so, let's look at where they are right now. So it's still the battle now between Gilbert and Bryan. So the 66 still of Caroline Gilbert with Hannah Bryan behind as well, both in Class A looking for the overall win as well. The gap between them is 2.1 seconds and it is coming down all the time. The Peugeot 106 Rally, which has been driven at the moment by Barbara Schilliker, so it's Class A cars, first, second, third and fourth, and then the black and green Toyota MR2 in fourth. Then the top of class, which is from Class 15, which is Nichols, that's car number 17, which is Maxine Nichols in Class B, in her Toyota MR2 Roadster, it's currently fifth. Then we've got the number 30, which is Stacey Dennis in the Alpha, sixth quickest. Then seventh up there as well is the 84, which is on Beverly Phillips still holding on. The Lamborghini now is down to 5 laps back as the Mini goes past. It's like one of the Metros as well. The gap is still 2.1 seconds. Looking for the next couple of cars to go past. The Mini will go past in a moment. Update on the timing screen. Here comes now the Mazda MX-5. Followed now looks to be by the Darby 597. It's just great. We've got some great sports cars in there. It's just really, really enjoyable to see such a mix. I mean, Silver Phoenix, you know, it's such a brilliant Warwick GT350, which ironically I think is in the same class as a Lamborghini Gallardo, possibly a little bit up there. Well, the thing is also, I was speaking of course to Gail Hill, who was driving the beautiful Jaguar XJ40, which I believe is out there at some point. Yes, it's out there in 17th place at the moment. But I don't think that Warwick GT350 is out there in those conditions on cross-ply tyres. Now, if that's not a recipe for disaster, all due respect, I'm not sure what is. There goes the MG of Helen Waddington, still holding place now in 7th place at the moment. She's gone ahead of Beverly Phillips. So Beverly's starting to fall a little bit down with timing screen, but still holding on to a place in the top 10. The lap times currently, the Lamborghini Gallardo, the next quickest car on the track, seems to be, looking at the times, is the number 12, which is the Cindy Pearson, the MCR S2. That's kind of like a Ligier kind of Juno type sports car that you see racing on the continent in Europe. But even so, that's doing a grand job at the moment, up there in 25th place with the Gallardo in 28. So now the Gallardo is now down to 4 laps, and of course we're now pretty much halfway through the race at this point in time because the leaders have now completed 10 laps. So everyone up to 13th has completed half distance, and looking down, the rest of the order goes past the Derby, and also incredible the Lotus Elise going side by side with the MCR S2. So the Elise now is quite a way ahead, but even the wet conditions, the MCR is not able to try and get past the Lotus, which is pretty extraordinary. So it's a performance level. In some cases, we're seeing it before our very eyes.
Well, absolutely. I mean, just looking at the comparison of the times, Fiona James in the Lamborghini did 1:12.4 in qualifying, which is now circulating. Her best lap time is a 1:20.5, so you know it's 8 seconds, just over 8 seconds slower, and in fact she's now lapping in 1:24s, where we said that obviously the rain had come down hard. Ironically now we're starting to see dare I whisper it, blue sky, Scott.
Blue skies in November in the UK? No, surely not. Must be seeing things, but even so, here they come. Just coming past the pits now is the 22, which will be that's Michelle Kirkpatrick and her MG Midgets. There goes the glorious Lamborghini, just chasing after those two down the pit straight as well.
There's a yellow flag down at Coff, so unfortunately we can't see what's happened, but
I'm missing a couple of cars. I'm not exactly sure what the Jaguar looks like, but I haven't really seen too much of the Jaguar come past. So, but even so, wait to see as they come past. Here comes the MX-5. Or trio car, one of them would be the BMW, the 32 of Robin Oliver, that's the compact, and the little Mini just chasing after, that's car 66, which is Caroline Gilbert. That's the car leading the race, but she's only just a second ahead of the 29, which is of Hannah Bryan. So Hannah Bryan's closing down for the overall lead at this point in time. Schilliker's now up to 3rd place in her Peugeot 106, so it's hatchbacks 1st, 2nd and 3rd, the MR2 currently 4th, the Alpha, which is top in Class B, which is car number 30, up Stacey Dennis is currently holding on 5th place. Looking at the rest of the classes, of course, Gail Hill's car is top Class C, of course. The only competitor to her is Charlie Goddard in the Morgan Plus 8. And of course, he's heading, and of course, in Class C as well, Fiona James and Celia Stevens in GT350. There's a few Class C cars up in the field. And then we've got the rest of the classes. There should be Class 5. Yes, that's the Derby. That's the Derby which started, qualifying, it was 15th quickest in Class D.
One of the cars I've just clocked is gone. It's unfortunately car number 5, Lorraine Gathacol in the Lola T210, and I think you said you spoke to them, didn't you, before the race? Cracking looking car, but just suddenly clocked that's not on the timing screens, unfortunately.
It's a shame, so maybe that must have been a bit more. She may have been a casualty of whatever happened at the top score at the start of the race, we presume at least. Lap time wise, still the Lamborghini's lapping some 2 seconds lap quicker. Let's go for number 95, which is the 95 of Suzanne Sears in the red MGB, followed by the 32 of Robin Oliver in the BMW Compact. There goes the leader Gilbert, and timing wise, Gilbert's gone past, but we seem to have had the number 29 of Brian has dropped there, so with the 29, which is Hannah Bryan, has disappeared. In fact, hasn't come back through. It's tumbled down the timing screens to the 16th, so something has happened to the 29. Next car that's come through is actually the Ford Schilliker. That's the Peugeot 106 Rally, then number 74, which will be, of course, of Nina Fountain in the Toyota MR2. So had a casualty in the second place car. There goes the MR2. So the second place casualty out of race. That's for a shame, because she was closing down pretty quickly. She got to win in a second, but I'm wondering if she's got pushed a little bit too hard, presumably at Cops Corner, and the end result hasn't been all too pretty.
Well, it's definitely double waved yellows down at Cops, and I think they were because the vehicle was on grabbing the car, and I'm suspecting well identified Scott. I think that's number 29 Rover Metro of Bryan. So Hannah Bryan was doing so well, and unfortunately, I guess, came to grief in one way or another, whether it was mechanical or an off up at Cops. It's difficult for us to be able to see that. Incidentally, by the way, just suddenly noticed that last lap round, Fiona James in the Lamborghini Gallardo down to 118.1, so the conditions are either starting to improve or she's getting used to driving, probably a mix of both. It's bordering on sunny at the moment. It's certainly brighter. I wouldn't go as far as say sunny actually, but it's brighter. But looking at the track, there's a lot of drying up to do yet before you call that a dry track.
And of course, what's that going to mean for the Walter Hayes later on? Of course, plenty more races still to go. Of course, but if the rain holds off, then I wonder if we're going to get a mostly dry track with some damp patches around there. Past goes the big Jag XJ40. And
I love that Ford Puma. It's absolutely stunning sound as it comes through. Very intrigued by that one. Because what did you say it was, a Ford?
It's a Ford Puma CVP, but I've actually had to search on Google. I couldn't find anything that says what CVP means.
If it was CNP, it could be Chateau Neuf de Paris. CVP, so I don't know.
Called old Blur on but even so. Fantastic. So look at the gap now. I looked at Gilbert. Look at the way in which, because the Lamborghini is now just gone ahead and hit halfway distance, and looking at the leaders' times, she's easily lapping at least about 15 seconds quicker than the cars in front. So if that was managed in 10 laps to get down to just 4 laps behind the leader, either she's not catching them quick enough, or because technically that's kind of like a gap she's got those 4 laps, but it's a minute and 20 while closing in about 15 seconds. Do you think the race is probably still going to finish about a couple of laps down, unless something major happens to the leader? The Gilbert looks like he's got the lead so far with 14 seconds, and then a further 8 seconds back is the Alfa in third position. So the handicap is certainly bringing things together, but even so, because of the rain, I think it's backfiring just a tiny bit because of the fact the rain is leveling the performance out a bit more, so they're not closing as quick as they'd like them to.
I think I've clocked another one that's gone missing. Apologies if you did say this, Scott. Sarah Hutchison, number 7, the Lotus 7S2. Suddenly clocked that's down the bottom there, so she's looking. I say that it looks as though the same time as number 29 Brian, but obviously the fact that it's got all the handicaps in it, can't be sure that that's definitely the same time. So did those two have a moment up at actually. I stand corrected, sorry, because it's just clicked over. So I wonder whether it was a temporary moment that's sort of dropped it down. But she has just now completed 12 laps on. I stand completely corrected. I'm totally inaccurate in the Murray Walker style.
I'm not sure if we lost too many cars, because I think the car we have lost is the one car, which is the Lola. Apart from that, I think they're all still out there in some context circulating. I think to an extent.
Well, I think we lost one before we even started. Also, that 28 runs and 29 down the grid.
Yeah.
We did have that yellow flag on the first lap as they came out to give me that. So somebody went missing, but the powers of production wanted to show us there. But yeah, I think you're right. Global Metro 29 Hannah Bryan does appear to be only one gone at the moment.
Yeah, looks to be. There goes our leading back past the pits. Goes the 66 of Caroline Gilbert. Shinika is now back to 33, one way back at this point in time. There goes Sarah Franklin's Clio. Franklin now up to 4th position. She's lapping at least about 8 seconds before the car's right back. She's now up to 2nd place now. Shinika's down to 4th as Dennis 30. That would be Stacey Dennis in the Alpha has gone back to third position. So the 106 has lost 2 places in the shuffle.
I think you also noticed where Gilbert went through there, our race leader on the paper, and was about to be passed by the Lamborghini Gallardo and Fiona James, that reached to the unlapped herself one at a time. But that's still going to put her 3 laps down, and by my reckoning we've got 4 laps left to go. So I think unfortunately the rain has come back to build bite somewhat, but it's just some great battles all the way through the field out there anyway.
Certainly is. You're seeing a couple of the Formula 4 cars down there being pushed back into the garage, of course. We'll see them later on, and we'll be covering, as you said, the main event, the Walter Hayes Trophy, later on this afternoon, roughly about 3:15 this afternoon. We've got a bit of a break in between, but of course we'll get a chance to grab a few drivers, possibly 1 or 2 star names, not necessarily racing this weekend, but certainly making appearances and supporting other drivers. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one. But yes, fantastic battle. Look and see how it's closing up. The closest battle seems to be the battle for 8th position overall between the 82, which is that's the MG or ZR 160 of Helen Waddington, being closed in by the MX5, or maybe she should be passed, I think, that one. We do have actually now a new race leader, in fact, Will Smith, because Sarah Franklin, the very prominent Clio racing for the Michelin Clio Cup, has brought her car out to race, and she is now up there at the front of the field, completed 17 laps, and then completed a 2nd over that. So it looks like the faster cars that are currently running in Class B are starting to overtake the Class A cars. So it's certainly paying off as the track, the rain has stopped, the track started drier and drier. So people say it's still looking treacherous out there. But Sarah Franklin to the lead.
Lovely to see though who was the leader, Gilbert, in the Rover Mini Cooper, but it is an old school Mini. It's just brilliant. I mean, like we say, the great mix of something like the Gallardo versus a classic Mini. I mean, and here we go across the line. It's number 84, which of course is one of the MGs. That's Beverly Phillips in the MGB. So it's just a brilliant eclectic mix of cars. Just unfortunately for Fiona James in the Gallardo is that the handicap hasn't worked out for her by the looks of this due to the rain.
So she's now completed 14 laps, it looks as though, and I want to go in a moment. Of course, we're still waiting for the lap times. I mean, her lap times are, to be honest, I mean, Sarah Franklin just put them on 22.617, so she's lapping 4 seconds slower than a Lamborghini Gallardo and the Mini JCW as well, which is the 1.5. Wendy Mortimer.
That's well, she did, the last lap 121.5, and she did in qualifying 125.3. So she's actually going under her qualifying time. So great performance. Obviously loves these conditions.
Indeed, she's Jensen Button of this kind of this field, because she likes the mixed conditions, it seems. Because there is a dry line forming on the pit straight. I'm waiting how that was playing out. So it's still Sarah Franklin leading them, because she now completed 18 laps, as has Gilbert, 11 seconds back. Both of them saying personal best last time around. And then it's the 30, of course, which is now being by Stacey Dennis. 4th place is Barbara Schillinger in the Representative Politics Rally, back up down to 4th. 17 is the former leader, which was Maxine Nichols in the Toyota MR2 Roadster, which I believe is prepared by Road Motorsport. There goes the beautiful Lamborghini, back past the pits again. Still 4 laps to back. Now it's up to 3 laps, it's still ahead of the Hutchinson. Those are 7S2, 26th overall, but still 3 laps back. Close, quick enough to have a 1 lap big laps faster than us. So yeah, that even to complete a 15 laps is not going to finish up in time to do any higher, I don't think, at least. But even so, it's been a very interesting race. There goes Sarah Franklin across the line.
I think to start a final lap, I believe.
Absolutely, so it's final lap there for Sarah Franklin. She can come across and win this fantastic race. It has been an all-timers race pretty much. It's a handicap race, which has pretty mixed things up. And of course, by doing so with 28 female drivers out on the track, 29 I think at one point, they have set a new record for female drivers. It was 25, they've increased that by 4. Another car that goes past, which is a wonderful looking machine, is car 24. That was the...
spotted, sorry, Stacey Dennis in car number 30, the Alpha, has just moved up to second, so the Rover Mini Cooper of Gilbert is now down to third position at the moment as they go on to their final lap. So it might not be the Gallardos had the rub of the green with the weather to enable them to get back onto the pace, but there is a few of them that are just as we go into the dying lap that they are up there, they're challenging for it. It is now Franklin in the Clio, Dennis in the Alpha, the Mini Cooper of Gilbert. Fair bit of a gap to the Mini JCW of Mortimer, but we'll see. Wow!
Yeah, Fiona James with one last passing shot before the race ends, puts the 1:15.920 to cement that she is the fastest car out there on the circuit. But we're waiting now to see where our race leader is going to come through any second now. I would have thought. There goes the Lotus, and next couple of cars coming through, comes the MCR down the pit straight. Here comes our leader, Sarah Franklin, takes the checkered flag and wins the BWRDC Ladies Handicap race in her Renault Clio. Fantastic drive, and she's been a great performance. She actually started going to the front of the field in her group. Second place will go to the Alfa Romeo of car number 30, and it will come across the line very shortly as the rest of them come through to complete their race. Where is our second place car? It was about 1 minute and 3 seconds back, so there it goes to car number 30, which is of course the Alfa Romeo of Stacey Dennis, takes second place overall and also in her class as well, Class B. And class hasn't been over just yet. There goes now Gilbert. No, it has been over now. So Dennis gets second. Gilbert gets third, only 10 seconds back. Fourth goes to Mortimer, the Mini JCW, and then fifth waiting for the Toyota MR2 as a couple more cars head past, including number 24, which is Celia Stevens, the beautiful Warwick GT350. There goes Fiona James. She ends up 26th, it seems, unless she made up a couple more laps in that last bit. No, the last lap was a 120. So fourth position has gone to Mortimer. Fifth goes to Barker in the MX-5. Schillick is sixth. Seventh is Nichols in the Toyota MR2. Eighth is Waddington. She comes across the line in the yellow MG ZR 160. Ninth is 74. That's the Mark 2 MR2, Mark 1 MR2 of Fountain. Rounding up the top 10. Here comes Lotus Elise, and that is the number 20 of Tina Cooper to round off the top 10. The rest of the cars will come through. The timings may well change, but even so, it looks as though that's probably going to be race done and dusted. Check the flag has flown, and it is Sarah Franklin who takes the victory. The last few cars were here across the line. There goes to number 7, which is the recovering Sarah Hutchinson of a Lotus 7S2. So it was I think had an off somewhere, was out for about 3 or 4 minutes, but was back in the race. Slow, that appears to be the race. I think is done and dusted. The last few cars are going to come back across the line. I don't think, because they're several laps back. But if that is the case, that is the race done and dusted. So it is Sarah Franklin who takes the victory then with a 121.315 as her fastest lap in the Renault Clio 197. Second in the race goes to Stacey Dennis in the Alpha. Third goes to the 66, which is of a bit like now 66 of Caroline Gilbert in the Rover Mini Cooper. Fourth was the 115 of Wendy Mortimer in the Mini GJCW. Fifth was the 65. That was of the Mazda MX-5 Eddie Barker's. Two all sorts of orders down the pit lane, so they should get a wonderful display of different machinery, and it was wonderful to see all 29 of them, albeit 1 or 2 of them very briefly, but even so, all on the track at that point at the same time, setting a new record and setting an example for female racing drivers, any budding ones both coming up in there, both past, present, and also future ones as well. So there's the top 10 sorted. Austin Byrne not on track, it seems, though she came back from the pits. They're all heading back in now, so that is that done and dusted. We're now going to give you a very quick commercial break before we then go for a break now towards lunch. We'll come back roughly about a couple of hours later